this is Barb, and we are filming this lesson for you from Hunt Valley Church. We are on level 3, lesson 2, and we're going to work on today past continuous tense, and we're also going to work generally on some verb tenses. We're really glad that you could join us for this video, and we hope that you're safe and having a great day at your house. Today we have Lynn filming our session, and she's a really great filmer, so that won't be any problem. And also Marge sends her love and her regards. She's home this week, but has definitely thought about you. I've been in contact with her several times, so I just wanted you to know that. Okay, so what is past continuous tense? If you would go on the street and you would ask an American on the street what is past continuous tense, they probably wouldn't have a clue, to be honest with you. But unfortunately, when we are a child and we speak English, we learn English as we go along. Unfortunately, you didn't have that luxury. So to learn the tenses helps your English to sound right. It sounds right and it is right, and a bunch of rules gives you the way to do it. Now, it's easy to confuse the tenses. It's easy to put words together that don't go together, but they still work, but they're not exactly right. So this is a proper way to do it. You certainly, if you do it wrong, you're still going to get your point across. It's more of a verbal lesson than a written lesson because you'll use this more when you're speaking than writing. Okay, so the official definition of past continuous tense. The past continuous tense is used frequently in English language made up of ing verbs usually, or past tense phrases. For example, the animals were running gracefully through the field. Okay, you have a past part of that and you have a present part of that. It's this easy concept once you've mastered it, but it's very hard to speak. Now, past continuous and past progressive are pretty much the same. You can have past, present, or past future. And that's, at this point, I just want you to be aware of the technical terms. You don't need to remember that, but just be aware if you want to look online. If you go to the ESL website, they have a lot on this that you can look at that'll help you to learn more if you want. We're going over the general idea today, not the all the ins and outs of it, so to speak. Okay, we have some vocabulary words today. This first part, I'm just going to mention to you the last part. When I point to you, I'd like you to say it. So the first two lines here, I'm just going to explain. Some words are different than others, of course. Fall, which we all know it's the fall season, can be used as a noun, which is, it is fall, or it can be used as a verb. I'm going to fall. So that word has two completely different meanings, the same word. Here's another one. Leaves, when you think of the fall, you think of the trees, the leaves falling off the tree. That's one part of leaves, that's a noun. Another part of leaves is I say, bye, see you later. Okay, so that's another part. And that's a verb. Now that's going to come in a little later in our lesson. You don't really have to worry about it, just kind of file it in the back of your mind for future things. Okay, now I'm going to point to the word, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to point to you, and you're going to say it. Okay, the first word is persuade. Persuade. And one more time, persuade. Now, a definition for persuade would be when I have an issue or I have an opinion and I try to get you to have the same opinion as I have. All right, we're going to get into that also later. Some of these words are not even going to make any sense to you right now, but we'll get to them later. Okay, another one, I'm going to point to it, and then I'll point to you to say it. Issue. 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 Now, you may already know this word. I'm not so sure. It's not a word that we use a lot, but it is one that's come up in the news lately, and it's a thing that happens at our homes a lot, even though we may not use this particular word. Okay, here we go. Debate. Debate. Okay, and one more word, and this one you may also know too, but it's a little difficult to spell. It's not when you look at it, it might look a little confusing to you, but I think you all already know this word, but maybe not. Autumn. 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 Okay, thanks for helping me with that. Now, in verbs, when you look at a verb, there are different things that verbs mean. There's a past tense, which means something that happened in the past. And there's a present tense, which is something that's happening now. And then there is a past tense. Now, we have two kinds of verbs, primarily. Okay, a regular verb, if you take the present tense and you add ed to it, it makes the past tense. That's a regular verb. Here we have one, rake, raked. Now, an irregular verb, the present tense doesn't look anything like the past tense. You kind of say, where did they get that from? And you almost have to memorize them. They're not easy for people that don't speak English because they don't make any sense primarily. Like this one. Buying, buy, buying, bought. Okay? Or break, breaking, broke. Now these two, because they are primarily used in the present tense, they don't look so different. But the past tense on those is like not even close. So I'm going to say these for you. You can just kind of follow along with me if you'd like. Rake, raking, raked. Break, breaking, broke. Fall, falling, fell. Buy, buying, bought. Help, helping, helped. Pick, picking, picked. Now you get to have a little quiz. It's not hard. Okay, I want you to look at this list of verbs here. And I want you to pick out the verbs that are regular verbs. Remember, a regular verb, a regular past tense verb ends in ed. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes here. Let's take a look at them. Okay, I'm not sure if you're done or not, but we'll go over these. Okay, rake and raked would be one regular verb in this list. These three in here are not regular verbs, they are irregular verbs because they don't have the ed. Help and helped, this would be a past tense. Now if you look, there's not a whole lot of difference in them. So you really kind of have to look careful to make sure you've got it. Okay, pick and picked. Right now that doesn't really mean a whole lot to you, but it does give you an example just of how some of the verbs work. Now these sentences are using a lot of tenses. One of those, as we talked about at the beginning, was a past continuous tense. Let's look at the first one. I picked up sticks. Should be an up in there, sorry. I picked up sticks for my neighbor today. Now, what would you say that sentence, was it in the past or was it in the present? Remember your verbs down here. Okay, give you a few minutes to think, but it would be in the past. I will pick them up tomorrow too. So his action of picking up sticks is going to continue into tomorrow. Now this is more of a past continuous future tense, but it gives you an idea of the tenses, how they're used. So it's past, present, and maybe even a little future in there. Now that's kind of a really tough one to start with. They're going to get a little easier. The next sentence. I love to help clean up yards. I have helped do this in the past. And that one's a no-brainer there. I gave you a big hint on that one at the end, so it is hard. I'm not making fun of you at all. It is hard, but in the past, if you see a phrase like that, it gives you a hint that this is the past tense. They're not always going to be that helpful in sentences, so I just did that for fun. Okay. I love to clean up yards. Now, does that suggest to you a present tense or a future tense? What do you think? If you love to clean up yards, do you love to do it today, yesterday, tomorrow? What do you think? Okay, it's hard with you not answering, but the correct answer is, if you love to clean up yards, you're always going to do that. Present, future, whatever. You're going to continually like to clean up yards. And this is the past part of the sentence. I have helped to do this in the past. Remember, again, we're looking for a past continuous tense, or maybe even a few other tenses thrown in there that just give you an idea how the tenses of the verbs are used. And a tense is actually just a word that means past, present, or future. We don't really have future on this list, but it's past, present, or whatever. Okay, well, I'm making it too confusing here. Okay, did Henry finish raking the lawn? Okay, that's a question. What about Henry? Is he done yet? Is he finished? This dude is slow. He's slow raker. So this is present, so we're not sure. I mean, Henry may be out there with a rake, or Henry may be in the house saying, yippee, I'm done. We don't really know. But it does indicate that he is, at any rate, raking the lawn. And that is a present tense. Yes, he did, and he was happy. Happy is what? Present? Was happy. So that means what? Present or past? Did he finish it or didn't he? Think about this a little bit. If he was happy, he finished the task. And this is in the, he was happy is in the past. Okay, next one. The leaves fell all over my yard. Now, this could be either fell is which part of our verb here? Fall, falling, fell. So fell would be which tense? It would be the past tense. So the leaves fell all over my yard would be past. Okay, the present part is they are still falling today. So what does that indicate? Those leaves are still coming down. It's a continuous thing. It's a present continuous thing. It may be presently they're falling. It may be in the future they're falling. But we know it's definitely not past. So you have the past and you have the continuous on that. The continuous future and the continuous present. Okay, it's a little confusing. I try to rake leaves every day. Now, that is a tricky one. So is that talking about present? Is that talking about future? Or is that talking about past? Okay, that is actually talking about continuously, every day, present. Okay, and the next one is, I have raked leaves for a month. And here again we have our past tense that gives you a hint. This is a past part of the sentence. Okay, so some of these are a bit confusing, but the thing to remember is you have present, you have continuous, and you have past. Okay, another example that we had before was, let's see, the animals were running gracefully through the field. So the animals were is a past tense. Were running. Running is one of these. It's indicating a present task. So that's how that sentence worked. So you're looking for a past part, you're looking for a present part or a future part. Now, where people get a little bit confused, they'll say, I was at work today. We were singing. Okay, that's got the ing. That one was fine. The way you would mess that up probably, or the way I would mess it up, and say, I was at work today and I sung a song. Okay, because the sung would be past. That sentence wouldn't be correct. If you said, I was at work today and I was singing, you have your ing. So the trick is to either have the ing or this part and one of these. You could say were broke, was falling, would be this one, or had, fell. So it's not, I'm not trying to confuse you. My point is to look as, when you're speaking or when you're writing, to just think about what tense you're doing it in. if you're doing it in the present tense, the past tense, or the future tense. And when you keep doing something, the continuous past tense means you have some past in the sentence and some action that continues. Okay, we're going to do something a little easier here. And I just want to mention too, if you have a question, you can email us, you can call us, or you can write a message, or if you want to write a letter, we could do that too. So it's just a joke if you want to write a letter. Most people don't, but if you did. Okay, now, we talked about a debate. Now, you've heard this term on the TV, I'm sure, lately. Now, what is a debate? First of all, a debate includes 2 or more people. You can have 2 people with a debate. You can have 3 people with a debate. It's got to be at least 2 people. Okay, everyone or each one has an opinion or an issue. You don't have a debate where everybody agrees. Somebody disagrees with the other guy. Each one states their reason why they are right, and they try to persuade the other person that they're right. Now remember our vocabulary word, I'm sorry, Lynn. Persuade means you want someone to think the way you do, and you're going to tell them the reasons why. Okay, now, there's different kinds of debate. Now, I don't know how many of you have teenage people at your home, or even little people. And I put teenagers, but you could just as well put a little person. Teenager versus parents. Okay, we'll pretend that Lynn here has a son named Henry, and this isn't true, but we're just making it up. And Henry comes in and says to Lynn, "Hey, Ma, I'm 16 years old. I'm going to stay overnight at Rob's house." And Lynn says, "Wait a minute, Henry, are you crazy?" And Henry says, "No, Mom, I'm an independent, 16-year-old. I should be able to do whatever I want. He's a good guy, Rob over there. Don't worry about it." And his mom says, "You are not going, because you're not allowed to go where I don't know your parents. I don't know what time you're coming back. You're just not doing it." And Henry says, "Mom, what's the matter with you? Don't you think I'm a responsible person?" And Lynn would say, "Sure you are, but that's not the point." Now, in that particular debate, who would you think would win the debate? It wouldn't be Henry. Mom's got the trump there. In other words, what Mom says goes. Now, some debates, it's not that easy to say who won, because you don't know, because they're just giving out opinions. But that one's an easy one. Okay, here's another one. What to eat? Okay, at my house, sometimes I'll say, "Okay, what do you guys want to eat?" And I live with my daughter and my husband, Chuck. And my daughter, no matter when, where, or how, she'll always say spaghetti, right? If I ask Chuck, he's always going to say, "Hey, how about a nice pot roast?" Because he really likes that. And so they get down to there and they'll look at each other, and Dad will say, "Hey, we just had spaghetti a week ago." And Kathy will go, "Oh no, Dad, it was at least longer than that. I don't even like pot roast. Why should I have to eat something I don't want to eat?" And Dad will say, "Okay, I don't know. I think I better just see what your mom has out from the freezer." That's the other thing, did she get it out? So then you get me in there and I say, "Hey, I don't want to eat a hot pot roast. I don't want to eat spaghetti. I want to have hamburgers." I love hamburgers. So you've got 3 people. They're trying to convince the other guy of their opinion of what to eat that night. So who trumps? I trump. I cook. All right, that's an easy one. But like I say, sometimes you don't know. Now presently, and I don't want to get into politics, I don't want to get into anything like that. I just want you to understand what a debate is. Right now we're looking at presidential debates, and I don't have any idea what they're saying. I don't think I even want to know. And they do not use good grammar, by the way. But anyway, we have a presidential debate, and each of these people, or it could be a senatorial debate, or it could be any kind of person that's running for election, will often have a debate. And what they're saying, they have issues like the economy, they have issues like healthcare, and each of them is presenting their opinion to persuade you. Okay? And that's, like I say, I don't have opinions on these, I just want you to know exactly what a debate is. All right, now, I'd ask you if you have any questions, but I don't know, so I'm assuming you don't. Okay. Bible verse for tonight is concerning God is with you always. Now, if we look at this, is present. And this indicates what? Like long term. Okay, and here's the Bible verse. I will not leave or forsake you. It's from Joshua 1:5. Will not. Will is something we haven't covered tonight, but this is a future tense. Will not. I won't ever leave you, or forsake is a word that we don't use too often, but it means leave you alone or not help you or in any way assist you. So that's just our verse for tonight. And Kathy and I, we have little flags that we put in our yard. And so we picked this one up, and I thought it would kind of go with our lesson tonight. But it's not really good grammar. And I'm going to have you look at it, and I'll tell you what's wrong with it. And it's a little tricky, so you're going to have to read it a couple times. I'm going to read it once, and then I'm going to point to you, and you're going to read it once. Fall into Jesus. He never leaves. Okay, you go ahead. Okay, the questionable thing here is what? Fall. We told you before that fall could mean two things. It could mean to trip and fall, or it could mean the season fall. A better word to use for this flag would be follow Jesus, but it doesn't rhyme with the rest of it. And this is what we were talking about a lot of times in level 3 last year. People say this, but it's not good English. Remember that one? Or it's just something fun to say, and their English isn't really that good. Fall into isn't really what they mean. They mean follow Jesus. He, and what tense would you think that would be? Present, past, or future? Okay, we didn't cover future, but it's kind of past and it's kind of future. Never means past, present, and future, all of them wrapped up into one. And leaves is past. So the idea is the same as our Bible verse. Jesus never leaves you. And I thank you for your attention tonight, and I apologize ahead of time if some error I made, and let me know if there's something that you don't think I said was right, and I'd be glad to work on it to see if I'm wrong, which I'm sure I would be, but thanks so much. Sorry.